Before I had systems, I was the business. Like if I wasn't there, it wasn't going on. Every decision, every fire, this is making sense to you, right? Every task, it all ran through me, every single thing. If I ever unplugged for a day or for a week, God forbid a month, everything would stall. I mean, I just couldn't do it basically. But now it's different. Sales happen, projects ship out, clients get the results they're looking for, and it happens without me. I'm not part of the hub of that thing anymore. So what changed? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the infrastructure that made that possible, the business systems that every founder needs to scale without grinding themselves into the ground. I'm Brett from brettcpayne.com. And if you're tired of being the only thing that's the glue that's holding your business together, this video is your wake-up call. You can take what I'm going to talk about in just the next couple minutes and apply it immediately and definitely tomorrow, because chaos doesn't fix itself. I can tell you that from experience. It just gets replaced. You replace the chaos with systems, and that's what we're going to do now. So let's build the foundation together. I'm going to give you several layers to help you do this. Layer number one is the delivery engine. So this is the first place that most founders really feel the pain. It becomes like a huge struggle to them. If you don't have a system for how work gets delivered, you personally become the system. It has to come into you and go out of you to every single customer. You need to document your client journey, map your services out, automate the handoffs, and make it boring and scalable. When you can do those four things in delivering to your customers and to your clients what they need after they sign that online agreement and they pay that money to you, then you need to make sure that you take that journey that they're going to go on from the time that they pay, because they're instantly expecting something, until the time that they're fully functional as a client. You need to document that client journey. You need to map out the services along the way that they're going to receive as part of that journey. You need to figure out how you're going to automate the handoffs to the different staff members who are to do things, or to vendors, or to third party, whoever else that is. And as you're doing that, really simplify it, like really make it boring and make it scalable. Do this, A, B, C, D, E. Do not leave any spaces in there for interpretation, because your job as a CEO is to get other people to execute on your ideas. So you've got to figure it out for them. But once you do it once, it's golden. Layer number two, the sales and follow-up stack. What happens in your business after a lead raises their hand and says, I might be interested in what you're talking about. Can you tell me more about that? If the answer is, well, it depends on who sees it first in my organization, that is not a system. Okay. That's just roulette. That's all you're doing. You're just gambling on who's going to answer that person first. You cannot do that. You have to have a very strict structure in place to know when someone says, I'm interested in any way. It doesn't matter if it's social media, an email campaign, they call your phone. It doesn't matter they text you, what it is. You've got to have a system in place to follow up on that sales process. We call it the follow-up stack. So what do you need to do this? You've got to have a repeatable intake flow. You've got to decide what that is. Depending on where those leads are coming from, you've got to know that it's repeatable, how they flow down the funnel to the correct person, right? You've got to have a CRM that actually gets used. Now, some of you are still using Google Sheets or Excel. Some of you are using pieces of paper that are sitting on your desk right now. If that's you, this video, you got to pay attention. You have to have a CRM, a piece of software. It's online. There's free ones, there's paid ones, there's all these kind of things, but it actually is getting used where every single person coming in touch with your business is ending up in this CRM. Now, at the very least, use Google Sheets, at the very, very least, but I would suggest you use something a little bit more sophisticated. My go-to is always Go High Level. And if you don't have a Go High Level account, look all over the place for great deals on Go High Level accounts. Find out what the cheapest one is, then call me. I'll help you out better than that, okay? Go High Level is absolutely the way to go. But you've got to have one that's going to get used, because you have to remember, when someone is a lead with your company, the chances of them being ready to buy in that instance is very, very small. It's a very 1% to 3% opportunity that they're ready to buy right then. That's why you're getting frustrated, right? You think that if they call you, they're ready to buy. They are not. They are just exploring things, or they drank too much wine at 1 o'clock in the morning, but they did make touch with you, right? They did make contact with you. They might end up buying in a week or a month, or I've had people buy franchises from me 2 years later. Oh, no, one I had 3 years later. I couldn't even remember who it was. We've been talking. I've been in constant contact with him just through very loose emails and text messages and things like that, but it was all automated, obviously. That would never have happened if he was not in my CRM. The third thing you have to have is you have to have follow-up automation, like what I just spoke about, right? Now, when I talk about automation like that, I will tell you a little trick that most people don't follow, but automation should follow a natural sequence. And I don't mean once a week. I don't mean twice a week. The sequence that I use is called the Fibonacci sequence. And if you've never heard of that, I'd encourage you just go look at like Fibonacci TED Talk, watch that for 17 minutes. That'll give you the idea of what Fibonacci is and why it matters. And then you can apply that to your automations by setting your emails to go out in the sequence that follows the Fibonacci pattern. And if you think I just spoke Greek to you, then this is about to open up a whole new world for you. Just go do what I just said in the last 15 seconds. If you're serious about scaling without burning out, hit subscribe. This is where I share real system strategies every week to help you grow without the grind. You can subscribe right here. Layer number 3, your culture in code. So what does this mean? Value-based hiring rubrics. Make sure you understand what those are. Secondly is onboarding that orients and aligns people as they're coming on to work with you. They know what role they're in. They know how that role fits in the organization. They understand the big picture of what's happening. And then also rituals that reinforce your values. Sometimes that's posters. Sometimes that's desktop screen things. Sometimes it's a video from you once a week. Sometimes what I do is I get on Slack and I just sit on my deck or whatever, and I just talk to my staff once a week just about what's going on. Those kind of things are very, very important. Even if you're not in the room, like I'm not in the room, I'm on Slack or any kind of video, it doesn't matter. Set your culture code in place so that it doesn't get lost. It does not have to get lost. So let me ask you, which part of your business still depends completely on you? Drop in the comments for me. That is going to be the first place for you to systemize. I'll jump in the comments with you and help you with that. Layer number 4, communication flow. I'm talking about a communication flow that's not going to suck all your time, right? If your team is buried in Slack or they're chasing updates and you're re-explaining things all the time, it is not a people problem. It's a communication architecture issue. It's how you're getting information over to people in a way that they can digest and they can understand, and it's not overwhelming. So what do you need to do this? You have to have clear cadences, meaning they know on Monday they're going to hear from you. They need to know every day at the first part of the day, you're going to have a 5-minute stand-up meeting where no one sits down. They're going to know that you have staff meeting. They're going to know that there's an email that goes out. Maybe it's a weekly email or something like that. Doesn't matter what it is, but you need to build the cadences in. Don't randomly do it. And when I say that, put it on your calendar, okay? So I know on my calendar, 1 o'clock on Friday is my staff meeting with one of the businesses that I have. I know that happens every Friday. Nothing moves it. Sometimes I can't be here, but we'll still be online. That's totally fine. But they just know at 1 o'clock, this is what happens. They know how to prepare for it. I have other things that happen, text messages go out, emails go out, video things I just described, all on my calendars to set the cadence. People like rhythm, right? They like the sun coming up, sun going down. When that is, they know when it's daylight. People like these kinds of things. You need to build that into your organization. Also, as I mentioned, ritualized stand-ups and check-ins. That's part of the cadence. And then the third thing is one source of truth for your projects. What does that mean? You don't want 7 places where people have documentation. I like to call it the operations manual. And I use Google Drives that have all the SOPs, and then so everybody knows where everything is. They don't have to go searching for it, right? So that's a very important part of this. And layer number 5 is the automation layer. This is all the invisible staff, right? This is where scale happens. You can't scale something that doesn't have structure to it. You got to get the structure, then you scale it. But it's the automation that's going to let you scale. You're not going to win everything by hustling more. Matter of fact, hustle, even though it's absolutely important at the very beginning to start the inertia and the momentum of your business, if you think that hustle is going to continue to solve all the problems, then it's just not going to happen. If you think about like Formula One cars, it takes a massive amount of energy at the very beginning when those lights go on and they go off and those cars take off, all that power, that hustle that has to happen. But as those cars are going 100, 150, 200 miles an hour, just revving the engine isn't going to solve every problem. There has to be tweaking along the way. Hustle just doesn't solve all the problem all the time. There has to be other parts of that that follow the hustle. So from lead routing to financial reporting to client onboarding, automation is going to save you time. It's going to take out the errors in these things. It's going to free up your brain, thank goodness. The real stuff I use is to make this happen: All you have to do is just go watch my video, my 5 favorite business automations. The next step for you after this video, I want to talk about real tools, real workflows, zero fluff. The link is in the description for you. You don't have to guess. I'll take the guesswork out of it for you, okay? The systems that you build this year are going to determine the freedom that you feel next year. So if you're watching this in 2025, the effort that you put into it this year is going to determine how free you are in 2026, and just scale those numbers up. If you're watching this in 2026, 2027, it doesn't matter. The principle is exactly the same. Work now, sow the seed so that you can harvest the freedom that you want next year. You can stay in reactive mode. No one's keeping you from moving out of that. Or you can build infrastructure that's going to run without you. And I think that's probably what you want. That's why you're watching these videos. The next step for you, just to give you a clear path, is for you to go watch the video, my 5 favorite business automations. They are evergreen. And that's where I show you the exact tech and triggers that made my systems run well. And you can click the link in the description. So let's build something that lasts.